All right, and welcome back. It's been some incredible games so far today, but we're getting into our third game of the day. It's Cafe Noir versus Project EXR. I'm one of your broadcasters for tonight, Corrupted. I'm joined here by Zeus. It's been an incredible day to watch some Marvel Rivals, hasn't it?
I mean, it absolutely has, and honestly, I am pumped for this fight here. This is two colossal titans who are going to be battling it out here, and they are going to be starting on Hell's Haven. I mean, this is the most consistently chosen map in this tournament, and for good reason. It is truly incredible. We will then be going on to Hall of Dajalia and Yggdrasil Path, both escort maps, I believe, and incredibly fun in my opinion. And just looking at the stats of the team here, I believe Cafe, and I mean, sorry, no, I
No,
don't
you're
think
you're all good. It's been an incredible game today as we look at Project EXR and Cafe Noir. We're gonna take a look back for a second at the two previous games that have been played today. So that's F5 Esports and Hakiki Mori that got our quarterfinals started at 5 p.m. F5 Esports takes the win. It's a hard fought one at that. It's a 2-1 victory over Hakiki Mori. They had to bring it back after losing game one to Hakiki Mori. And then at 6 p.m. Empire Gaming versus UKN Neko Espresso. We thought this one was going to come down to the wire, and then we were proven wrong. Neko Espresso with a dominant 2-0 victory, finishing things up in about 30 minutes, which is an unprecedented amount of time to do just two maps in. And now, Cafe Noir and Project EXR. Anyone on your radar there, Zeus?
I mean, looking at their match stats so far, Cafe Noir have gone 4-0, which they're the only team to have won every game they've played, and I don't think that's going to stop now, especially because EXR have gone 2-2. Which again that surprised me because I thought they were doing better than that. I've genuinely seen them and thought they were quite a good game, especially in their recent match against F5 Esports. And looking at the player stats here, Project EXR, EXR's Ubuti has got 159 kills over 5 games. Oh no, yeah, 156 kills over 5 games, which is honestly incredible.
Yeah, it's some great stat lines that are definitely scratching my head a little bit. I'm also looking at Cafes right now. 201 kills for Amir. That I believe is the second or third highest amount of kills that we've seen in these preliminary rounds. And the love is not spared on the rest of his teammates. 191 for Tomaz, Iffies setting at 179, 762 at 159. And the one that really sticks out to me, Wonderland, the strategist, has 105 kills, and Kingfin not far behind at 95. Just an absolutely absurd number of kills to have as a strategist.
And I mean, the way they play it, they clearly have brilliant tanks. Because looking at Cafe Noir, their tanks have played 8 games each, 23 and 22 deaths for Tonez and Iffy respectively. Whereas looking at EXR, they've played 5 games, and their tanks, I believe, have 35 and 32 kills for Quarry and Lawyer, which, like, it's still good, but there's just that level of difference in how consistently these teams can play. And I'm really excited to see the outcome of this match here as we go into Hell's Haven for our first game.
And this is going to be a fun one, I feel, for both of these teams to kind of get your footing, to figure it out. We've had two very different outcomes on this map already throughout tonight. Of course, like we were talking about before, F5 versus Hakiki Mori. Hakiki Mori came out with a win and didn't win anything else for the rest of the night. But Neko Espresso against Empire just an hour later, you know, Neko really set a high bar and kept it there. But again, as these first bans come out, it's going to be two duelists. Now, the Human Torch out of Project DXR, not surprising. It's the Psylocke that is.
I mean, that's not surprising to me, because Ubuti last week was playing an incredible Psylocke, especially with Boom Boom on Emma, to the point that it had to be target banned, because they were just able to go in, get a kill on a backline support, and get out again, because they had so much survivability and such consistent aim with that one-shot combo. And we're now seeing a Lunar Snow ban, a Hella save, and then a group ban, which is really interesting. We're clearly seeing that Boom Boom wants to play a Emma Frost heavy game, and interesting choice to save Captain America, potentially going for the new Bucky team up with that, given how strong he is currently, or planning to run a dive comp.
Yeah, and as we get to these final two bans, Iron Fist is going to be the first one out, so it's 2 duelists for Project EXR, and one strategist. We'll see 2 duelists and 1 Vanguard out of Cafe Noir. Star-Lord's going to be that final ban. It's going to work against that Adam Warlock ban that we saw before, but I'm liking this ban in Fic Phase. It's a lot of, you know, we saw F5, Neko Espresso, Empire, Hakiki Mori. They came in, they knew who they wanted to ban before game 1 began, and that's what it looked like to me. This one is so back and forth that the teams are just reacting to one another. Those first, you know, those 2 bans, the first 2 bans, the first 2 saves, maybe not reacting to one another, but the way the Luna reacts to the Groot, the way that, as I tab in to recheck, the way the Star-Lord ban reacts to the Adam Warlock and everything like that, it's going to be incredible. And we've seen a lot of different strategies on this map, and I'm so excited to see them pull this one off on a map that has just been a staple throughout this tournament so far.
And honestly, I'm really excited to watch 7.62 on this map, because I think Cafe Noir have a really vertically based comp. They're definitely going for dive here. And Wonderland on the Spider-Man. Interesting if they're actually going through with that or just going that in the spawn spawn room. But if they are, that will be very interesting to watch. And 7.62. So a Black Panther who is incredible and able to wall ride and go up so much, that verticality is going to be so essential to how Cafe Noir play this. And I believe Project EXR are all going up on high ground, and
that's gonna
retreat. It's instantly
yeah.
retreat.
I mean, it's definitely a good strategy call out of 7.62. It's where I would have positioned if I was ever good at Black Panther. But obviously being caught out immediately there. Project EXR taking the high ground, but it won't stop 7.62. Huge damage for him as he goes in for the first time. And just like that, Cafe Noir, instead of letting Project EXR drop down onto them, they dive in the way their comp is built onto the high ground and terrorize 4-5 members of Project EXR already down. Cafe Noir strongly on point.
I mean, that was honestly brilliant. 7.62 just knows how to deal so much damage that it can overwhelm the enemy team, because as soon as you're dealing like 50% of the health bars of half their team, the supports are having to concentrate on that instead of dealing damage themselves, and it just gives your team a lot of forward momentum. And he was able to clean up so well there. It just made the rest of Cafe Noir's job so much easier, and they were able to dogpile their tanks who were dropped. For example,
well, the high ground finally working out at least a little bit for Project EXR. Able to get a nice little pick there on Ivy. And now they make their way on to point lead. There, 7.62 though, automatically on the back line. That's a 3K for him. And what I thought was going to be a breath of fresh air for Project EXR has ended in tragedy as Kingpin able to take down Boom Boom there. But 7.62 coming out with the Black Panther, just like you said with those strategy calls that he's been making, it's been devastating to EXR. The patience that he's shown so far has just been incredible.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not sure how Project EXR are going to answer this, but I'm excited to find out. They have an Emma, they have Loki, they have that Winter Soldier. They should be able to counter it. They all counter Black Panther, but 7.62 is just so good at ignoring all of that and able to go through the enemy team. Those 180-degree turns are so fast.
Yeah, but again, a quick pick from Project EXR as they try to swing this one back into their hands. Now, of course, they've got 3 ults there. Kingpin forced to use his, 762 has got his ultimate. He's on the back line right now. Will he make his way in with it? He won't. But Ivy able to open things up. But with 762 gone, what can the rest of Cafe Noir do?
And Thomas popping strange portal there with that Emma Frostal. That's going to probably get Boom Boom in the end. And it doesn't quite. Oh, but 762 manages to clutch up through that portal.
Yeah, and he'll grab 2 off of it. Amir will fall, but Amir able to keep the rest of his team alive with the DPS. Overtime is there. It's 100-0 from Cafe Noir. And I think one of those things, because I haven't personally been able to see Cafe play yet, you know, looking at 762, you think that he's the focal point. Realistically, he's not. He spends most of his time outside of the fight looking for when he can make that impact, and he did. But realistically, Ivy, Toons as well running that front line. We saw Toons fall first there, but Amir playing on those off angles as Hella didn't even see where he was coming from. He was able to get those kills and being able to get point there, able for Toons to make the switch over to Steven Strange and to portal to point, only really to resupply his team with that shield and with some extra support.
But I mean, also Cafe Noir have the advantage here in multiple ways. They've got that first point, and then they've also got 3 more ults than the enemy team, which is just incredible for first fight potential. And so 7.62, the only time they were struggling that game is when they were fighting into Loki's Undying Totem. That's like a 20-30 second cooldown. Like, you can't use that as your one defense against a character. It's not reliable or consistent enough, especially when you have to use that ability for so much more. And EXR going on the high ground here. Thomas trying to contest up top.
Yeah, 762 already on them, waiting for that opportunity. Amir drawing attention so he can get into the back line. Goes there for just a second, but that defense, like you said, was up against him. Ivy able to open things up, so will Amir. I think 762 can get away with not using his ultimate in yet another fight. And just like that, like I said, Amir with the 2K, Toons as well, and Walker will take himself off the map in order to protect himself from the stagger. And I like that out of Walker. Of course, you never want to see him in that situation, but now Cafe Noir yet again holding all the cards.
Oh, that was a rough moment for Lawyer there. They tried to Loki swap to a clone right in front of them, and they accidentally did it to one through a wall to the side of them that they didn't even see. It wasn't even on their screen. That's got to be rough. And we are seeing ult from Thomas here getting an instant kill on Adam Warlock.
Yeah, and that's going to be devastating to Project EXR. But he'll bring himself back into this fight. He's still got that revive available. So he's going to try to use it to his advantage. Corey going to use his ult. We'll see an Invisible Woman ultimate as well, as Loki had just used his.
And somebody just lurking, waiting, and managing to get... oh, that's actually three players getting 3 kills individually there. But yeah, 7.62 definitely did the heavy lifting with the damage there. And
exactly. Honestly, I mean, incredible stuff.
So well.
And that was his first ultimate of the game. He's had that charge since about 50% on the first point here. So the strength of mind to know exactly when to use it to set your team up for those abilities of what's worked so well. Now at 80%, we see multiple or only one ultimate being used by Ivy here. 762 falls for the second time.
Yeah, I mean, it's always in that Loki totem. Like, it's never anything else. And honestly, it does show the power of that ability, but also the lack of agency 7.62 or Black Panther has when that is active, and you just need to hide a bit more, and it sucks from a player's perspective. But I mean, Cafe Noir are feeling so confident right now that it doesn't really matter, and we are going to be seeing a lovely juggle from Thomas here, not finding much value, but it is fun to watch.
Oh yeah, and Ivy, Kingpin on the wall, and with that, they do not have the Adam Warlock ult available to them. Oh, but they will be using the ultimate from Eeyore. He will use his ult, he'll copy the Invisible Woman there. Not much they can do, but they'll stall for a little bit of time, trying to get back to point. But just like that, EXR taking off a point. Boom, boom, last to fall. As Walker will be there. The ult coming out from 762. Nobody else is going to get the touch. And just like that, Cafe Noir, one win away from the semifinals in what can only really be determined as dominant fashion. I mean, they controlled the entirety of that game.
I mean, that game just flew by. I think that was even faster than Empire Gaming versus UKN that we've just had their first game. That was honestly wonderful to watch, and now we're seeing Wonderland as the MVP on Loki. Such a fun highlight intro, I'll be honest, but
yeah, it's one of my favorites
from both teams there.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the stat lines now. I hope you see what I see right now, Zeus. A lot of great stuff out of Cafe Noir. Project EXR held to 4 kills across the board. Each member of their team only got 4 kills, and that was it. But 10 final hits for Iffy, 762 with 14 kills, 2 deaths, no assists there. Which I'm fairly surprised he has 0 assists with the way his ultimate went. But absolutely incredible stuff. Not much to talk about from this team as they just dominated this one.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I would be buzzing right now if I was any of the players on Cafe Noir. And, like, but it's so easy for matches to shift in really unexpected ways in this game. I mean, we saw it earlier today with F5 and Hakikimoro, and it was just a flip-flop between the two teams. F5 did not look like they were about to win coming out of that first game, and at the end of both games they did win. It was touch and go, but they managed to do it, and we could see a comeback from EXR here. However, I find it quite unlikely.
It's very difficult to come back from what just happened to 100 O's to take game 1. And, you know, we had that little fight at the end between the two teams, but in the end, Cafe Noir, all they did was dig their heels in a little bit more than what they had previously been doing, and they kind of just wiped the floor with EXR, which is a really unfortunate thing because EXR has looked incredible throughout the preliminaries. I don't think we've seen the full capabilities of EXR, and I'm with you here. I think that EXR has got more to play, more to give, and I'm excited to see what they do into game 2 to kind of adjust to what happened. We're heading back to the first map that we had. This is when F5 turned the tables on Hakikimori at 5 p.m. We're heading back to Wakanda, and you know, can Project EXR emanate a little bit of what F5 did and make their way back in? What are we thinking for these bans and saves?
I mean, honestly, I think EXR would be stupid not to insta-ban Black Panther, not because he's like the best statistics-wise. Oh, interesting insta-ban on Hela. That might put them at a heavy risk if Cafe Noir choose to save Black Panther. And the reason I think he was the best player on their team there is just because of how much attention he drew and required from EXR, and how he was able to, every time Cafe Noir got an inch, take a mile for the team and get several kills every time one decent play was made from them. And they've got such good team coordination and voice comms.
Well, here's the thing that's really interesting to me. You know, Project EXR goes for the Hela, and in my brain I go, okay, then Johnny Storm's going to be the save, and it was the save. And, you know, I don't see 762 playing Johnny Storm. I see him playing a character like Namor that can emanate Hela and come back into this. But these bans and picks, little all over the place, but I'm liking what I'm seeing, especially out of Cafe. They get rid of the group, they get rid of the Psylocke, they'll keep Luna so that they have that extra range to heal up their Johnny Storm, whoever will be playing that. Winter Soldier's going to be the save. What do you think they're going for here?
I mean, I think the Winter Soldier saves, because that's one of the 2 counters left for a Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's Namor, sure, but EXR just banned Hulk. They cannot use that team up now, and that's the only reason you play Namor now, because of that team up. That team up's really good at dealing with fires because of how much vertical range it's got. And then your other options for dealing with a Johnny Storm are mirroring, having hit scans. Of course, Hela's already banned, so you'll need a Punisher with the Rocket team up. That's 2 of your team members on a map that they're potentially not the best suited characters for. Or you go a Bucky, because he has that orb ability. He's able to knock them out of the sky, and it's your only shot at dealing with him consistently. But I mean, we're seeing an almost mirror match from the teams here. Interesting choice for Boom Boom to be playing Strange off the bat here. I'm curious to see if he'll swap and then get to point after portaling, or if he will stay on it for a fight or two. However, it's important to remember, Strange just kind of sucks currently, and so it's not going to be. So it's you're facing an uphill battle if you do play him, in my opinion.
3, 2.
Well, it's only time will tell. We'll see what he can do here. Not quite sure what the other heroes look like, but immediately 762 putting down a ton of damage, trying to set things up. He knows that portal's coming, and I don't know what the strategy call is here from Boom Boom. He portals in the middle of Cafe, trying to take point almost immediately. About halfway to that 3rd tick right now as the fight gets underway. And honestly, I like the strategy call, but now Project EXR backed up a little bit into that back room. They let their strategists play in. Meanwhile, up top, we see the Johnny Storms going at it.
I mean, honestly, that was really smart from 7.62 there. They're already at ult. They were at 60% before the fight even started, and now they're just trying to clean up, but they got froze. It still does not matter. They just wanted to brag that they got ult in one fight.
Yeah, and Ivy,
interestingly switching to Black Widow here. Not sure how much value that's going to provide, or if Cafe Noir are just really confident now and trying to try some new stuff out. Potentially countering Yabuti on Mr. Flameon, but like, is Black Widow a good choice against that?
You know, that's going to be the real question here, is how well can you take care of that flyer with all of that? As he's there, an immediate nice shot from Amir, taking out a big chunk of damage. You know, I'm loving Ivy in the front line of 3K on that last team fight to get them a great advantage going into this one. 2 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock for Project EXR. They've got a 1/3 of the point though, so I'm liking the way that they utilize their portal. They'll be able to get that one back, but Walker back in on Magneto, and in that air-to-air combat fight, 762 will win out as he'll continue to push back this team as they try to use their Loki ult to make their way in.
I mean, he's already got a 2nd ult in the time everyone else has got 1. It's incredible watching him, and he's playing this so well. He's putting his fire piss so far into the enemy team, and then he can dive into it and scatter them all out, and it means they have to use their abilities, their cooldowns, just to stay in the fight, and they've not even engaged properly yet. It's incredible watching this, and
we talk about
damned if you do and damned if you don't with 7.62.
Yeah. And it's 5 ults into 5 ults right now, and that is going to be an absolutely incredible team fight.
And
as we're just going to get everything thrown at each other.
Angle up here. Boom Boom taking the lead as Emma Frost up through this choke point, trying to basically find somewhere with a lower ceiling, potentially blocking Yabuti from damaging them as much. And he is going to be popping that ultimate fire tornadoes raining down from the sky.
Many. And there we go. Other ults coming out, armed and dangerous. We see an Amir. Immediately, we talked about what that Black Widow can do. And it's going to be taking out an ulting member of the Project EXR team. Yabuti, Boom Boom, both use their ultimates. 762 will fall, but Amir's still on that high ground, well out of ult. Be able to grab one, but just like that, Project EXR trying to grab as much room as humanly possible. Toon's able to take one, but not able to do much more. Meanwhile, with 20 seconds left on the clock, it looks as though EXR finally has found their footing, and they will grab that first checkpoint, but they've got 2:43 on the clock. They gotta make it count.
I mean, they finally found some much needed forward momentum there. And honestly, that was well played by them. Boom Boom's ultimate especially was pivotal to that. That is, I think, the best ever ultimate I've managed to ever see. Because they just got so many stragglers. Because Yabuti was playing so recklessly there, and they were finally able to punish it as a team. But we are going to see an engagement here from Ifvi, trying to get that combo onto Boom Boom, but the Magneto Bubble is going to come in clutch and save them.
Yeah, and those Magneto bubbles are so important to work around, especially with the communication for your team. So being able to get that one up and keep the rest of your team from dying, you know, it's a strategist move, but 762 will fall. He's already got his ultimate, though, at 96%, so it's a key figure being taken out of the game, and EXR just pressing the W key and pushing forward. Kingpin trying to get things started as Ivy able to take out one. Ivy with the second one. 762 makes his way back and makes an impact. And Tunes with the final 2 kills there. And with a minute 30 on the clock, Cafe Noir trying to swing this one back in their direction. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, especially in this ult economy. Both teams with about 3 ultimates to play and at least 1 more on the back burner. So we'll see what these 2 teams can do, especially because it will be Vanguard, Duelist, Strategist for Noir. It's going to be Strategist, Duelist, Vanguard for Project EXR, who actually have more ults at the beginning of this fight than Cafe and more to use.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to be looking here for that Emma Frost ult, trying to hit their entire enemy team, but those double shields are really going to hinder that. But they finally find an opening. Do they connect anything? And they connect 3 of their opponents, managing to get a kill on Yiggy. That support kill is going to be pivotal to the outcome of this fight, and it's already over.
It's already over, and they used 1 ult that entire fight. Of the 4 that were ready for them, Ivy used it, got a 3K off of that. But again, we're in this situation. There are less than 20 seconds on the clock now. We're in that minute window, and it's 5 ults to 3. Ior has 73% of his ult as well, so they've got a ton to utilize here. Early picks are going to be what's necessary. The Supernovas going against one another. Will the early pick come, and to what team will it be?
I mean, honestly, that was incredible to watch. Yabuti popped ult, then then Toes countered with Magneto. Then that Magneto was countered by the Magneto, and we're seeing the Kraken impact in combination with the Emerald, but it's all going to be countered by Kingfin's Lunar ult, which is just healing their entire team so much. Now it's a Lunar Mirror that is going to give both teams invulnerability for a while. But Project EXR are going to be making steady progress on this objective here, managing to push forward inch by inch as Cafe Noir don't touch, but now Cafe Noir are taking back control, trying to hold the point as much as they can. Kingfin's already got that back.
It wasn't his ult. It wasn't his ult. Wonderland was the one who ulted first, but he leaves it. But now Kingpin uses his ult now to leave the door open. 762, Amir are there, Ivy is there, and 3.94 meters will be the resting spot for Project EXR. Absolutely incredible stuff. Things moving so quickly there. 103.37 meters. It is so close to that final point. An absolutely incredible game between these 2 teams.
I mean, honestly, brilliant. I think Cafe Noir are still pulling ahead here because Project EXR didn't quite cap that second point. They just capped the first as well. And I think if the first game's anything to go by, Cafe Noir are going to find forward momentum, and they're going to find weaknesses and gaps in Project EXR's strategy and composition to a point where they can just win and steamroll here with even decent team coordination. And it's so interesting watching this map from 2 completely different matches perspectives. This one, we've got a lot of poke comp. Yeah, we've got poke comps, really. Kingfin going for the penny tech, trying to get some bombs on the enemy team early on. I've only ever seen it work once, and it was in ranked, but it's always fun to watch.
I've never seen it in a game. Of course, you would love to see it now. in this one. But, you know, I think what this really is going to come down to is how much time does Cafe Noir take off the clock with their initial attack. They're not using a Stephen Strange portal as per meta, so they're going to go around the long way and try to take this fight quickly. But they need to, again, it's the speed of which they do it. We know how hard it is to get to that second checkpoint on this map, no matter what your team is like. So to have as much time, as much buffer time as humanly possible to try to get the win tonight is going to be pivotal. Now, we see both these teams starting to go at it for the first time. 7-6-2 in the air with Yabuti as these two go into some air-to-air combat. But immediately, Cafe Noir bursted down just a little bit, have to pull back off of point. But immediately taking down that bridge, and it gives more for Project EXR to watch out for. Tunes, 7-6-2 already on the board. Boom Boom and Walker will fall. Amir still running the Black Widow, which I think has been an excellent pick from Cafe, as those little picks have really paid off. And like I said before, the time was going to be crucial, and now they got 5 minutes and 36 seconds. It's almost the quickest I've ever seen that point taken.
I mean, yeah, that was fast from Cafe Noir. And the Black Widow choice here is really, really interesting to me. Because if you would ask me who the worst character in the game is, or one, I would say that Black Widow is one of them, especially in organized play, where people have such good comms that they're able to heal each other so fast, and it's always worth taking a healer. But in this game, where so many hit scans and long-range characters are banned, the value of just one at all is so important when you're facing as two pseudo-flying characters here, and we're seeing it here. We're just, dude.
It's 1-on-2 takes them both down, and just like that, it's two ultimates used for Cafe Noir. It forces everything out from Project EXR. And they are 3/4 of the way there off the back of using Amir, a character that is never used at this level, to get a flanking angle. They've still got 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Amir already in there. All the ultimates expended from EXR, and it will end with only one member of Cafe going down.
Yeah, and Cafe Noir now popping Emma ult, and that's going to force them to retreat. It's not going to find any hits necessarily, but still useful for just buying Cafe Noir that little bit more space, that little bit more time to recover from those 4 or 5 ultimates they just faced.
Yeah, and we'll see the closest ult currently will be that Invisible Woman ultimate of Yugi. So we'll see what they can do against one another. But Cafe's been fighting on point for a little bit now, and they're about 20 meters away. But as Ivy and 7-6-2 fall, they'll have to push back just a little bit here. It's the first time we've really seen Cafe pull out of a fight since the beginning here. So I think they're just regrouping, but we're fairly even in this ult economy, but the advantage given to Project EXR.
Yeah, absolutely. This is incredible from Cafe Noir so far, but then EXR managing to hold here. They have to hold for another 3 minutes, bear in mind. That's a tall order, especially against such a well-coordinated and good team. And that Emerald from Boom Boom is going to try and find value, but there's too many shields this early on in the fight for it to do much, and Yabuti is going to manage to get Aimer, but is going to get taken down by 7-6-2. That invisible boundary being popped, and then responding with a Magneto ult from both teams.
What a shot there from Tunes. Absolutely sniping the Star-Lord out of the sky. Now Walker is able to take out 7-6-2 there, but it's a little bit more of an advantage towards Cafe as they'll continue in this fight. The team's continuing with their back and forth movements as Toon tries to make his way out. Kingpin will use his ult. Iffy and Amir. Amir and Iffy with a 3K. That's a 4K for Tunes. And the real question is who can touch?
Like, I mean, Corey.
It's the only thing you. It's the only thing you can do.
That's not gonna happen, and there's not even time for a strange portal.
2, 1.
That is an absolutely insane way to end this game. Cafe Noir put the game back in their hands. They saw Boom Boom use his ultimate, figured out that that was the moment to go in and attack, and a deserving MVP for Ivy, who rocked an absolutely incredible game, combining the ultimates from Emma Frost and from Black Widow to absolutely dominate. It's a 3K for the both of them. The rest of the team just plays cleanup because of the devastation the two of them have just committed on this team, and they get the win, and now they move on to the semifinals in 42 minutes is really what it took.
I mean, yeah. And it wasn't even that, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Ama, managing to get 15 final hits and 4 deaths on one of the worst characters to play at this level. It's truly incredible, the skill that Cafe Noir have as a team and a collective. And honestly, it was actually a genius pick. They were maybe just testing the waters and pushing it a little bit. But with these picks and bans, you have to have a DPS to be able to counter significantly, or a hit scan to be able to counter significantly, and they did it. Like, they did it really well. I believe we are going to go into an interview in a minute, which I am very excited for, given how well performing that match was.
Yeah, I mean,
Cafe
listen,
Noir.
Cafe Noir came into this match 4-0 after the preliminaries, the only team to do it, and they showed it. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is that, you know, Project EXR played that game as well as they could have. Had a great hold right at the end, had a great attacking phase, especially after getting first point. But Cafe is #1 in the Ascensions League right now for a reason. And they put that on full display with a dominant performance here. They couldn't rely on 762 to get the kills, so they relied on Aimer. They couldn't rely on Aimer to get all the kills, so it went to Ivy. And, you know, it's such a depth of roster that, again, we talked about this before. You know, you ban for one person on the team and 3 others take their place as the new person to watch out for. And it keeps your eyes on a swivel. It keeps everything moving quickly, and it forces out mistakes like we saw from Boom Boom. And we saw that ultimate come out, and, you know, maybe it's to take an earlier fight or up the tempo a little bit from EXR's side. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was absolutely incredible stuff in order to get this win. And I believe we should be going to a break fairly soon before our interview. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll meet with a member of Cafe Noir and hear about their dominant performance here tonight.
And you will want to stay tuned for our next match. Correct.
No problem. Take your time.
Oh, we got selected. Wait, the whole team's in here?
Yup.
Yes, he said the
Team interview.
I said the whole team.
Oh.
Well, it was a quick break, and we're joined here by the entire Cafe Noir team. Absolutely dominant performance from all of you. You know, what was it like to get through this game and to get your spot in the semifinals?
Pretty easy, you know, we're looking forward to absolutely rolling Espresso in the finals. That's who we're hoping to play.
I see you're staying nice and humble.
He's the only one that's not humble.
So let's touch on this performance just a little bit. We'll start with the duelist. 762 absolutely running the game during game 1, playing a little bit of Black Panther there. What was your strategy during that game? How'd you set yourself up? How'd you use other team members to kind of be able to get the attention off of you?
Well, every time I was about to dive, I would call it in 3, 2, 1, and then I would have my Hulk also jump in with me, be a little distraction. My main goal, force out cooldowns. If I get a kill, you know, it is what it is. Just nice, just extra value.
I mean, you guys are brilliant. You keep, especially your DPS roster, you keep choosing quite off-meta picks, and they work quite well, especially Tonez in that second game with the Black Widow choice. It worked so well, especially given those picks and bans. Like, what made you decide to go for that riskier coon?
Basically, I just wanted to show them that there's more hit scan DPS characters in the game, and they banned Hella. I'm still in it to win it.
I mean,
Absolutely
that
fair.
it's an absolute, it's mental, honestly, is the word that comes to mind the way you guys played this last game, especially you running the off angles, running the ultimate game. I mean, 762, you ran circles around not only Project EXR in your ult charge, but around pretty much the entire lobby. You had 2 ultimates charged before most of your teammates had their first one charged, and that's really saying something in this fight. You know, what are you doing to keep your ult charge so high, and why is it important to cycle through it that fast?
Well, the thing with Torch is he gets his ult very fast, as you saw, and it's like I might as well just use it, force something out, or get a pick.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you get it that fast, like every fight, it's always useful to use it quick. How do you feel about your chances and odds going forward into the semi-finals?
Who do we
Feel like
play?
You will be playing Calamity or Quantum.
We'll probably be playing Calamity. It's gonna be another light game. Then hopefully we get to bust that dopamine down a little bit on Nico Espresso.
It's a couple of fun teams, yeah.
I do feel like it's worth pointing out here. You're the only team that's won every match that they've played this tournament, and that's got to be a confidence boost for you guys, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely incredible stuff. You know, I'll talk to your support lineup for a second here. You guys, you know, keeping the entire team up during the game. What is it like, especially with the team is spread out as the way that it plays? How do you guys load manage so that not, you know, people aren't slipping through the cracks?
Kind of just like assigned people to heal. To be honest,
We just
That's-
put
that's kinda how we do
Snowflake
it.
on whoever's flanking, really, and then just let them do their job.
Fair.
Well,
You guys clearly have the communication down for it.
Somewhat.
well, you know, absolutely incredible match. Again, that was a 2-0 victory for you guys, and a great punctuation mark on what would be the third game of our quarterfinals matches. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Excited to see you guys in the semifinals match up against our next game winner, which will be up against Calamity Esports and Quantum. Excited to see these two teams play together. We're going to end stream there. Incredible stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you just a couple of minutes for our last game of the evening.
Bye.